Is your job killing your relationship? Grab your stick, grab your drink. Let's get into this thing right now. What up? What up? What up? It's your boy JB coming at you live and direct. And you know what it is, man. It's the Smoke Something, Drink Something podcast. I'm the real Cigar Jeff, man. Y'all see all of my stuff down in the description, man. We ain't gonna waste our time on that. Tonight's topic is your job killing your relationship? And tonight, guys, it's the Family Affair edition. Y'all know who I got with me, man. It's my A1 from day one. I'm going to let her know how her information is down there, too. I need y'all to know what she's drinking on as we get into this topic tonight.
What's up, JB? Thank you for having me back. Ready for this Family Affair edition that we got going on. Looking forward to it. Real people having real conversations. So I had to bring back my glass with my ice cold water in it for one.
Damn, I forgot my glass. I forgot my merch. Go ahead.
But the drink I'm drinking is just some pineapple juice with my since I liked it the last time, this Rum Haven.
Nice.
So
nice.
It's just pineapple juice and rum, so we're gonna see what that tastes like.
Oh no, you're gonna like that. That's a good mix. That's a good mix. And the shirt is fire, man. As always, appreciate you being on. Y'all know how it is, man. Gotta give my dog some applause. Gotta keep that thing going for showing up again for me, man. Appreciate it. Yes, Lord, man. And again, I'm gonna keep it simple tonight, man. I was over in Orlando, so I'm smoking on, for everybody out there, my Oliva Melanio V Series, man. This thing, or Series V, I should say. This thing is a good stick. I've had it before. I saw it. I was like, I'm gonna get that tonight for this topic. And of course, man, I'm just drinking my Bullet. I ain't even get the bottle to put over here so I can prove it to y'all. But trust me, it's Bullet, man. We about to get into this thing right now. Is your job killing your relationship? And Rhonda, when you got the topic, tell me what's the first thing that came to your head?
Well, you know, I'm always say yes. Anything dealing with a job gonna kill everything you got going on. But I also believe your relationship could be killing your job as well. The circumstance. So when you first told me about this topic as we do this Family Affair edition, it's just a reminder that whether that's your job, your personal life, or your relationship, if you don't have a job, your relationship is ruined. If you do have a job that requires you to be out, your relationship is ruined. So I just look, in the words of one of my favorite artists, Bobby Womack. If I'm there, I'm broke. So that's how I look at this thing with job versus with your relationship. And so, you know, like people may say, well, you know, people need to make a certain amount of money, and that's true, they do, to give you options for whatever you're trying to do in life. But I also know, depending on the type of job that you do, it can ruin your relationship, but you also need to have somebody that's strong enough to deal with the type of work that you do. To me, job is a dirty word because I own my own business. But I'm just saying, like, if that's what you want to do, yeah, your relationship will be ruined.
You know, Ron, I'm glad you said that, because maybe I should have changed the topic to, is your relationship destroying your job? But that's a whole different podcast. Now the articles I got ready to pull up, but you didn't mess it all up. But I like how you flip that. I like how you flip that. And what's funny, Rhonda, is I'm going to agree with you. The job, I'm going to agree with you on this one, because is the job killing your relationship? The answer is yes. I mean, why do I say that, guys? Most of us are incompatible anyway. Most of us got with somebody based on how they looked or something like that, right? But y'all remember what I've said on previous podcasts. People ask your name, and then the next question is, what do you do? Well, here's the deal, guys. That's what they're interested in. They're not interested in your name. They're interested in what you do. If anything changes into what you do, that relationship is over. Now, guys, why did I do this? The last time we had a podcast, where I had Rhonda on, we were talking about Fonnie Willis, sorry, because Rhonda been correcting me. Rhonda been correcting me on behalf of Black women everywhere. It's Fonnie Willis, right? So I'm learning. But the last time we were here, one of the things that spawned this topic was, Rhonda, that I said, man, all this is tied to the job. If her job hadn't changed, or her responsibility at her job didn't change, we wouldn't know anything about what she had going on. We wouldn't know the Bluetooth names. We wouldn't know the frequency. We wouldn't know about the trips. We wouldn't know about anything. So in essence, her job has ruined her relationship. And again, guys, we kind of just gonna wade into this politics thing. We ain't going into the deep end of the pool, but I wanted y'all to see that the reason I brought this topic up was after we finished the last podcast, and it got a little spicy, but I kept doing my research and I said, oh my God, the job is killing the relationship. She was asked to do something nobody had done before, which is prosecute a former president, right? Nobody's been asked to do it. So now her whole life has been upended, everything, and now the relationship she's had before. Now, y'all get this, man. I'm not trying to say I support Fonnie Willis. I'm not trying to say I don't support Fonnie Willis. But I will say this. Her job has not only ruined her personal relationships, it then ruined her family relationships because she stepped out to do something. And now when you look up, I tell Rhonda this all the time when we talk, ain't nobody there supporting her from the highest levels. Because what she just did, she was ready to prosecute a former president, and somebody asked her to do this, and now her relationships are gone. So Rhonda, I want to go there real fast.
Okay.
I just want to go there for politics real fast. Guys, I'm gonna share my screen a little bit. I should have had this done already. But the first one I want to show you guys is just these topics from politics. And then I want to get into another article, Rhonda, about some of the reasons your job may be killing the relationship. I just want to show you these right here. Now, the first one I want you guys to see is, let's start with the Fonnie Willis one. Okay. Cobb County prosecutor says key witness was untruthful in hearings about Fonnie Willis's relationship. Okay. Now, I don't want to do a whole lot with this. Right? But a new court filing that just came out this week basically says that the former, it says Cindy Lee Yeager, co-chief deputy, district attorney for Cobb County District Attorney's Office, would testify that Terrence Bradley told her a different story than what he told her in court. Now, for all of you guys who are not familiar with this, the key to this whole thing is, when did the relationship start? Okay. Bradley got on and said he couldn't talk because it was attorney-client privilege, and we're not going to go on that. But Nathan Wade and Fonnie Willis said it started in 2022. Now it's being challenged that it started in 2019. Oh. If it started in 2019, guys, that's not a good sign because they've lied under oath, and that's what I wanted you guys to see. According to the filing, he spoke with Yeager multiple times in person around August 2023 to January 2024, saying the relationship started after the two met at a conference in 2019. The title is Your Job Ruining Your Relationship? Where were they at, Rhonda, in 2019? A damn conference. And you know what go down at conferences. And was all going when Willis was running for district attorney. Both Willis and Wade have testified that the relationship started in 2022 after she hired him as a special prosecutor. Either way, it's bad. But this is a prosecutor from Cobb County, which is Marietta North. I want to say it's a neighboring county. Okay. Now, Rhonda, hold that thought now, because I want to go through these three real fast. All right. Stop sharing. Next one I want you guys to see. This just dropped today. Okay. Bob Menendez, senator for the state of New Jersey. He and his wife charged with obstruction of justice. Guys, one of the things y'all gonna find, this is his second charge. Like, remember, this guy got charged a long time ago, but he was already under indictment for bribery charges, and his wife was a part of it. Okay. The reason I want to bring this up is the 18-count indictment arrived days after Jose Uribe, one of the defendants in the Menendez corruption case, pleaded guilty to bribery, among other charges, and agreed to fully cooperate with prosecutors. Okay? Now, Menendez has stepped down from his role as a head of a committee, but he's not stepped down from the Senate. He's going to make them, convict them, and send them to jail. And so one of the things that's happening, the guy he was taking bribes from has pleaded guilty. One of the things he did, because he was a senator, guys, I'm going to stop sharing this one around real fast so we can get you back on the screen. One of the things that happens with this is that he got his wife involved to try to hide it from him being a senator. So she was one of the key players in hiding it, and now somebody said something about it. Now, Rhonda, when you see those two articles that's happening in politics right now, what do you think is going to happen to these relationships if Fani Willis loses her law license and if Bob Menendez ends up getting thrown in jail? What you think going to happen to these relationships?
I mean, of course, I think the Menendez person, I think their marriage will probably dissolve. They'll have to go their separate ways, especially if they end up in prison. I wish you had more examples, though, of some of the other side of people that's doing just as bad. Because with any situation, I'm gonna take it here to the kid who shot up that school, and they charged the parents.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, look at where their relationship is headed. Because if the wife got found guilty, facing up to 60 years, I'm sure
the husband home,
you know what I'm saying? So things are gonna happen like that. So it doesn't matter whether it's politics or if it's like, just regular people. Things can tear up your relationship. Like, they thought they were doing their job with being a parent, and they weren't.
That's a good point.
With these politicians, though, I don't know a clean politician. I don't know one politician.
Stop right there, because you just preached. You just preached. Everybody just heard what Rhonda said. I don't know a clean politician. No. So why is it when you go, right? Why are people attracted to politics and think politics ends up making a difference? Because honestly, go ahead, Rhonda. Go ahead.
Well, when you're looking at what is it that the senators and all the representatives and things get? They get lifelong certain perks of being in politics, right?
Yes.
Whether that's health care, a certain amount of income for the duration, like whatever the case may be, right? They're just like when people work for certain companies, they have certain perks that keep people in. It's just that with government, because they're probably one of the more protected but also more scrutinized, I hate to say companies, because the entities, I'm gonna say entities, that you're representing the public, you're representing your constituents, so you should be under a microscope. Like, you should be looked at a little bit harder, because if we're going to call this a democracy, that's what that entails. Now, if this was a dictatorship, then none of that matters. What anybody
you already know what's going on. If it's a dictatorship, if you're a part of the family, or if you in the system, if you're a part of the crew, you know that's happening.
Yeah, it's just what it is. So when we talk about jobs and killing relationships and things like that, I think it could apply to so many things across the board. But when you add yourself into that public,
exactly,
public of being like, this is what it is, and it doesn't matter if you're black, white, Hispanic, or whatever.
Absolutely.
If it applies, it applies. But there's still levels to the tackiness. There are levels to the unethical things. There is levels to the lack of integrity too when it comes to your job and your relationships. If you don't network, then you're not going to get far. But then if you network too well, then you're going to end up probably doing too much.
But I think it's funny that you say that about networking. Well, you got everybody getting a choice. If you guys look down on the playlist, I just did a video for my members only called Getting Invited to the Hidden Places. And everybody, when you're climbing that career ladder, and all that kind of stuff, you're gonna get invited into the hidden places. On the movie Get Up about James Brown, Get On Up, Little Richard told James Brown, you gonna meet somebody, and the devil ain't gonna have no horns and a red suit on, right? You're gonna get invited to the hidden places. The reason why I brought up those two, Rhonda, for politics was because of what we did with Fani Willis. But I do like the fact of the job as a parent. I didn't put those two and two together, but I wish you would have texted me. I would have pulled that story up so that I could put it I could share the screen. Yeah. But I think your job as a parent, we're kind of staying on that politics thing. I'll use those politicians, and not that I'm trying to single out Fani or single out Bob, and then those are just the current ones that are happening right now. And today is Super Tuesday, and we're recording this on a Tuesday. So by the time y'all see it, it'll be Friday, that kind of thing. There may even be a ruling on the Fonnie Willis case. There may be a plea, or something like that in the Bob Menendez case. These are just things that happen today or yesterday. But I like what you brought up, which is you got a network. And what we're talking about in these relationships, the person at home got to encourage you to network. One of the reasons it's killing your relationship is because the person you have may be compatible physically, but they're not compatible professionally. Okay. Yeah. So what I've seen is that in most situations, the person who is not as advanced is trying to tell the person who is advanced that they don't need to trust that job. That job ain't going to keep you warm at night. That job ain't going to do this. That job ain't going to do that. So in essence, it is killing you because you hear that all the time. And then your job performance starts to suffer because instead of hating the person that's feeding you the negativity, you start hating the job.
Well, I want to say this too, and we probably said this before on the podcast, you're only criticized by people doing less.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like you never, so that's why when I see relationships and somebody's dogging the other one, it's like, man, what you doing? Like, what you even bringing to the table, right? But that's just how it is. But it also lets that person who's being criticized push harder to do whatever they need to do. And in some cases, it doesn't.
But Rhonda, stop right there, though.
Yeah.
Sometimes that person run out of energy. Sometimes that person just run out of energy.
Which person? The person criticizing?
The one that's being criticized run out of energy. And eventually you become like the person that's criticized. You give up because you just can't fight them no more. And here's the deal, Rhonda. We talked about this before. You don't want to be alone. And you would rather lose your business or lose your job so that this person doesn't leave you. And what happens the moment you lose the job or lose the business? The person leaves you. Rhonda, I was going to pull up who was the Christy Knows Best. Chrisley, you know the couple.
Oh, that went to jail?
That went to jail. I was going to pull that up because people are surprised that they haven't filed for a divorce yet. But they are saying they may get out early and that kind of thing. But they both went to separate prisons and that kind of thing. Now, what everybody thought was that the guy was going to plead so that the wife wouldn't have to serve any time. But that didn't happen like that. So when you guys see me putting up these politician ones, that's kind of just a transition from where we were on the last podcast to now. But Rhonda, I can already see this being a part two because the role of a parent is a job. The role of a housewife or house husband is a job. Right, because I didn't even think about the two parents from Michigan, where the little boy shot up the school and killed those people. I'll be honest. We could have talked about Jussie Smollett, and what he did, trying to make sure he kept his job, but trying to make sure he stayed relevant. It's just so many. It's so when you put it outside of politics, that does open it up a little bit. So, go ahead.
I do like that we're going to move down this vein of politics because, it has to happen, right? Like we're in an election year. Things have to be said. And it doesn't mean that, we can't talk about it because we should be able to talk about it because we're real people.
Thanks for the plug. I can't get him to go get my glass.
But at the same time, it's like, if you have somebody that you are in a relationship with, friendship with or whatever, if you're not talking about politics during this time frame, then it's like, okay, what are y'all even around each other for? Because at the end of the day, it's going to come up into your relationship. Now, when you're married to a politician, that's a whole nother story with the stories that you told me. When it comes to Fonnie, is that I'm like, she wasn't married to this guy. Like I said, nothing she did was illegal, maybe unethical, maybe, but it's just, it's like, at least the other guy was married using his wife for whatever means he needed to use his wife for. But again, all politicians are slick.
Well, and I like that word because I think one of the things we trying to let everybody know is, and I was saying this in the barbershop on Saturday when I got my hair cut, we got taught wrong about politics. We got taught wrong by being emotional about politics. Remember, guys, when this country first started, only the white landowners could vote. Now you look up, if you're a citizen, you can vote. But more people are voting with their emotions instead of voting with their pocket. And one of the things you're going to find is, I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican, or independent, but vote for who's going to increase your pocket. So if I'm a guy who has a government contract that's based on climate change, oh, I'm voting Democrat all day, and I'm telling everybody around me to vote Democrat. If I have a contract that allows me to drill on federal land, I'm voting Republican all day. If I got a Defense Department contract or something like that, right? You better know what benefits your pocket. That's what I try to tell people when it comes to politics. One of the things that's here, the reason why I wanted to put up Bob Menendez and Fani's being attacked personally. And they're trying to get her off the case, but nobody's telling Bob Menendez in public to get out of the Senate. And it's a big difference, right? Why? Because the relationship, they turned into Bonnie and Clyde together. That's why it's a little bit tough. But again, I think what you're going to see is, I don't think what she did was unethical. I don't think what she did was unprofessional. I think what she did, and I've told you this before, whoever put her up to this was not satisfied at the pace she was working. And that's who's doing this to her. Because there was no complaints about her job performance. She became the first Fulton County DA. She's done all of this stuff. And now this is what she's going to be known for. And again, I don't think it's fair. But the reason why I'm saying the job is ruining relationships is because we didn't know none of this stuff was going on. So if you want to go into politics, you basically saying, here go all my skeletons. Here go all my skeletons. If you stay in the private sector, that's not the case. So I like that you brought up the parenting, the spouse, all that kind of stuff. And we just going to mix in this politics thing, guys, because today is Super Tuesday, man. It's going to be so much stuff that happens. It's going to be so much stuff that happens over these next couple months. You got Trump, and y'all know Trump going to say something that's going to cause headlines. We're going to have to get into that, right? And how it impacts people. But we also got to know Biden going to say a gaffe that's going to make people go crazy. So we got two guys that's going to control the airwaves. And Ron, I like what you said. Your relationship going to be impacted by this. Whatever you do, don't put your head in the sand. But I wanted you guys to understand where the reason why I said is your job killing it is your job killing the relationship is because the answer is yes. If you and your spouse or you and your significant other is fighting over your job, that's the wrong person to be with. Guys, your job is just to go to make money. What are you even talking to that person about it for? But when you get taught that, oh, this person you with is a shoulder to cry on and all this kind of stuff, now you go dump that stuff on them. They don't have both sides. They're not there. So what are they going to tell you to do? They're going to tell you to leave. Mm-hmm. Right? So don't talk to your significant other or your spouse about your job or your business. That's not why they got with you. When you got with them, you bragged about that job. Now you complain about that job. Whole different ballgame. A job is just a place to go make money. Now, Ron, I want to share this article. Okay. I'm gonna try to jump through this real fast, guys. I want to jump through this real fast. Ron done messed my whole podcast up by saying you messed it up by saying is your relationship killing your job?
You always come prepared. So you don't ever prepare for anything. So
guys, I'm over here at Your Tango. Ron done messed up my whole podcast, so it ain't even. I done messed up now, but I'll be ready for the next one.
And walking away.
Threw that grenade and just ran. I'm over here at Your Tango, guys. April 26, 2023. 15 harsh signs your job is killing your relationship. 15 harsh signs, Ronald.
My bad.
15 harsh signs. I'm gonna just go through these real fast, right?
Yes, because I can't see that. So.
Oh, you can't? Okay, I'll read you. I'll read you.
Real small. Yeah, the screen is real small.
Okay, sorry. That's probably my media thing. I got to see what's going on with that.
Okay.
15 harsh signs. Number 1, your career is seriously stigmatized. Okay. So if you're in a career that's associated with sex work, your job can make it extremely difficult to get hitched. Right? That's basically what they're saying.
That's what my career is doing.
No. Number two, your hours are insane. If you work 2 full-time jobs, too many hours will make anyone feel like you're neglecting them. Now, what's happening in this economy? A lot of people have chosen not to work, which means the people who are working double time. But they also getting paid overtime, that kind of thing. You just don't have time to spend it on anybody. Number 3.
Maybe they don't want to spend it.
I agree. Number 3, the job you work is killing you on the inside, right? Here's what this is saying. If you feel like you're about to snap at work, don't be shocked if you come home to a partner who always feels like they need to walk on eggshells around you. Number 4, your job keeps you flat broke. Your job keeps you flat broke. I want to stick a pin in that one real fast. The amount of money you make is directly proportional to the chances you have at finding and keeping someone interested in you. Finding and keeping someone interested in you. It's a prejudice that tends to hurt men more than women, but it's hard to stay with anyone who is too broke to pull together a nice date once in a while. Now, why are you broke at your job? Because you have not taken advantage of the opportunities to progress. Because the person at home is telling you, I only want you to work a certain amount of hours so we can spend time together. One of my favorite shows is King of Queens. And I remember when Carrie tried to get a promotion. And Doug said, no, we promised we'd give the man 40 hours and the rest of the hours of the week would be ours. I don't want you to get promotion. What did Carrie do? She didn't take the promotion. Okay. Number 5, you've had more than one partner complain about your job. Basically, everybody you've been with complains about your job. Now, when does this happen? When you have influence at your job and the person you with does not have influence. Because if your partner at home is complaining about your job, it's because it's out of jealousy. Okay. Now, here's what I want y'all to see with this one. I'm very iffy about saying that a complaint about a job is something that you should worry about in a relationship because there are many abusers out there who got their victims to quit good jobs. However, if this is a regular pattern, you may need to think about your career choice. Okay. Sorry about that. Your job is preemptively advise you to choose it over your partner. Guys, and I'm a business owner. I tell everybody to choose their partner. But here's what I also tell them. If your job starts tanking, the only reason the partner wanted you was because they met you at your job. Now, what happens when your job starts tanking? You're going to lose that person too. More than likely, you met the person you're with at your job or through somebody at your job. Would you agree with that, Rhonda?
Yeah, I mean, I can see that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Number 7, we almost there, guys. Your work-life balance is way off kilter. Okay? Now, most of the time, people have a good idea when their job is taking over every little aspect of their life. If you legitimately can't find time to date people and have a relationship, then the reason you're single is because of your job.
Absolutely.
What happens is, guys, if you're spending time at your job, are you using the tools that the job is giving you so that you don't have to be at the job? And you got to trust that. Because why is it that the CEO is not there, but you are? The CEO learned to hold the staff accountable. He learned to delegate. He learned to trust the system. Or she learned to trust the system, okay? Number 8, your boss slept with your significant other. I said, where did this one come from? And then she said, if your boss has regularly barred you from seeing certain girls or who haven't even been a part of the company, then you need to switch jobs. Your boss slept with, if you got a boss that slept with your significant other, that job ain't gonna last no way. Now, number 9, Rhonda, is you can be considered a threat. Your job can be considered a threat to your current partner. This is the one I'm gonna focus on when we finish this one. Men do get very threatened by women in high power, high paying position. They can also get threatened or insecure if the girl they're seeing works in high society, while they themselves don't know much other than blue collar. Is that a reason to quit your job? No. Is this a reason you should think about the guy you're dating? Yes. Men who are so insecure that they can't handle a female breadwinner are men that are just not worth dating. I'm going to come back to that one. Number 10, your job or career path is demanding of your spouse too. Okay? Now, this goes for business owners, guys. Because normally when the business owner goes out and he takes his significant other with him, they got to act a certain way. So Rhonda was talking about that earlier. Number 11, when you're working and regularly get hit on or flirt with a specific person in your department. Now, guys, I work in the hospitality industry. People get hit on all the time by coworkers and by customers that come in. Okay? Here's something that might scare a lot of married people. The most common way someone finds an affair partner is through their job. And it makes sense. So when you realize you're spending over 1/3 of your day with those people, if you're noticing an affair beginning to form, you need to nip that in the bud before your job destroys your relationships. Number 12, your coworkers regularly tear down the guy you're seeing. Right? you know, if you don't bring your guy around, you always making excuses about your guy. Nobody's going to understand that. Number 13, your career forces you to stay away from your partner for long swaths of time. Sorry to say, but this is a love killer. There is, after all, a reason why many military marriages end up in divorce. Now, I believe absence makes the heart grow fonder, so I don't know if I agree with that one. Number 14, you get so into your job that you've forgotten date nights, anniversaries, and birthdays. Okay? And the last one, your job killed your sex life. And again, if you can't get in the mood after work, there's a problem. No sex life is a sign that you're doing something you're doing something wrong in your relationship. You may want to fix that soon. And I think one of the things that happens is if you go back up to some of these, I want to get Rhonda back in here because I want to go back up to number 9. I want to get Rhonda back in here. Rhonda, which one stood out to you? I know you can't see it, but.
Well, I know you said I tried to write down as many as I could. So I
okay.
could remember it. I don't know. You know, I'm such a feeler, right? I think feelings, emotions make us do certain anyway. So, I'm definitely here for killing you on the inside. People will work a job that they absolutely hate and then not question anything about it. And it's just unfortunate because they know they got to have a check somehow.
Yep.
But then they don't even know how to date their spouse. But it's the woman, right? So I can see how some of these things could overlap with that. But if you're happier, depends on where you're happier at. So you'll spend long hours at the job, man. If the job ain't talking back, the job ain't asking you to do all stay at the job. But then you may have a clingy partner. So then that's not gonna work. And then they're gonna, because they don't have enough self-esteem or confidence in themselves to be able to have a life on their own or by themselves, and then you guys come together. I can see how a lot of these things could overlap. But I do want to see which way you're going with this threat with the job.
Yeah.
I do see where you're going to go with it.
One of the things you guys have said, one of the things you guys have heard me say, because we've done a lot with relationships, and I think what's happening, guys, is that where a person meets you, that's where they're going to anchor you. Okay? Your job, if you get promoted and your significant other doesn't get promoted, you're going to have a problem in that relationship. Right? That's all I'm saying. Your job can be considered a threat to your current partner. See, this is what it says. It says men get very threatened by women in high power, but women get threatened by men in high power. So a lot of times people are trying to make sure that their significant other or spouse doesn't grow because they don't want to have any competition.
But it's more acceptable, though. It's more acceptable for the man to be the moneymaker.
I agree.
Than, and being the top dog in the household. I mean, now it's becoming where women are holding their own and having upper level.
And Rhonda, that's why Fonnie Willis is getting attacked. Because I would tell you right now, she is the one who was in the position of authority to hire. And I think that's why people are trying to put her in her place. Now, regardless on where you are on the side of the political spectrum with her, I don't want anybody to think that all of a sudden she's being punished because everybody else finally got morals and ethics. No, when you see an attack come like this, wait till we find out all the details on what's behind it. Right? What I'm trying to tell you guys is that somebody, right now, here's the deal. I'm going to go there. Nathan Wade going through a divorce with his wife. Right? Very, very rarely do guys choose somebody better than the woman they were with when they go through a breakup or when they go through a divorce. Women, on the other hand, always choose somebody better than what they had if they walk away from a man. I think, right. Women always choose somebody better. Women don't take a step back. Now, can you imagine? The wife looks up and finds out that her man is with the Fulton County DA, basically just as much power as the governor of Georgia, and that's who your ex is with, and you don't think that had something to do with it. And one of the things that happens is he's now going to be in line to be a special prosecutor to go against President Trump. And if they win this case, Rhonda, his career shoots up. Her career shoots up. But there's a lot of people who were saying, no, I liked you when you were down here chasing ambulances.
Okay? Most people are down there. That's where they like you.
Mm-hmm. And so the reason why the reason why the job is killing your relationship, every day you're waking up and trying to balance How can I get more money at the job, but still keep my significant other happy? And there's people making that choice every day because you chose somebody because you whether you it was physical in nature, or you chose somebody because they gave you a distraction from your job. I don't want anybody in my life who gonna make me get away from my job, get away from my business, get away from my company. What am I trying to escape? What we trying to do is understand that this thing is all interconnected. The better I am in my job, the better life is gonna be. The worse I am in my job, the worse life is gonna be. But
yeah, I think we should also just touch on a little bit with how sometimes people will make their jobs more than what they are. Right? They'll live a lie that
you ruining you ruining my podcast. You ruining my podcast.
Oh, am I? Oh, okay.
Go ahead, because you're making a good point. Go ahead.
That's what families do, right? So they're ruining stuff. But yeah, like you're gonna make your job seem so important that you got to be there, you got to do this, or got to do that. When that's so far from the truth. You ain't that busy.
Yep.
You're not that important, but you can make it seem that way as a way, whether that's protecting yourself or whatever, or to not be hurt or to what have you. But yeah, we should touch on people who like they fake in front and act like what they got going on in their life is so great.
Yes, and so you got, and guess what, guys? Guess what? The worst thing you can do to somebody complaining about your job is give them more time. Because all that's going to happen when y'all have more time is they going to be on their phone and you going to be on your phone. So why are we spending time? Just so we can give the appearance of it?
Yes.
Right? That's exactly what's happening, right? And guys, guess what? Brian, I like what you said. People make their job too important. Like, guys, everybody wants to be the man. Everybody wants to be the woman. Everybody is trying to show other people that, yeah, man, I'm doing my thing. I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, I'm that. When realistically, a job or business is only to make money. It ain't for nothing else. All this other stuff we bring into the job and the business, it just takes away. It just takes away from the fulfillment of a relationship. You know what? It's just like me. I want somebody. I love being able to go to Eddie V's and eat. And I love somebody who'll go through the McDonald's drive-thru with me too. Mm-hmm. And we just as happy with either one of those meals. Mm-hmm. So one of the things you guys are going to see, your job your job is going to put you in positions to where I can either eat over here sometime, and sometime I'm going to have to eat over here, because a job is peaks and valleys. Sometimes it's going to be busy, sometimes it's going to be slow. But what I'm trying to let you guys know is the number one thing, that the reason why your job is ruining your relationship is you never prep the person you with for your aspirations at the job. You never prep that person, Rhonda. So if I never prep the person, now this person sees the job as the number one threat. And they just keep plugging and plugging and plugging till they get you to walk away from that job, or until they end up breaking up with you so you can spend more time with the job. Jump in there, Rhonda. Let me know what you think.
But that makes sense if that means that if I meet you, one of my first questions after your name, what do you do? That makes sense. Mm-hmm. Because I need to know how much time you're going to be able to have for me. In a relationship.
Rhonda, I'm glad you said. See, you talking logical. Some people get that question, and once they get the answer, they say, "I'm gonna shut that down." See, we don't talk about the people.
I think they're special when they
yes.
So I understand that too.
Because guess what, Rhonda? Guess what we got taught coming from where we came from. The more money you making, or the more prestigious your job or company is, oh, you miserable behind the scenes. You don't like it. Rich people ain't happy. Successful people ain't happy. That job, they don't really like that job. And I'm gonna tell y'all like this. Social media has made it to where people can go viral doing one stupid thing on TikTok, and they ain't got to go clock in for the man no more. Now they trying to figure out anything they can do to create content. And one of the things y'all gonna find is when I do the podcast, I'm not so addicted to try to get people to give me a view or a like or a subscribe that I forget that the moment I become known, that's when the job becomes harder, because now I got to hire somebody to come up with these topics. Because once you become known, you lose that edge that you had when you weren't known. Once you start getting some money, you lose that creativity. If you guys look at my Patreon page, I did a video called "Creativity Comes Out of Lack." You ain't got no creativity when that money rolling. You ain't got no creativity but when you broke or when you coming out of lack, you gonna be creative on how to make things work. A lot of times in the Black community, what was soul food? Soul food was creativity out of lack. And now you got the most fanciest restaurants trying to serve it. So Rhonda, when you look at this topic now, because I think we're gonna have to do is your significant other killing your job.
Oh Lord. Yeah.
Because I think you own to something right there. I think you own to something right there, because the significant other putting so much pressure on the person, I'm assuming that's what you mean, that they can't perform their job at a high level. Jump in there, let me know what you think about that.
Well, no, yeah, because at the end of the day, whether you're married, single, divorced, or whatever, you're gonna have to have some type of income coming in. Mm-hmm. So the only factor that changes is who you have in your life, who's your relationship with. So if with that being the case, it has to be your relationship ruining your job, because you always going to work somewhere. It just depends on
work.
Right? But you got to work to make some money, bring some money in. But the people that come in and out of your life for relationship purposes determines a lot of how. Oh yeah, man, my wife said I can't come. Oh yeah, my husband said I can't go. Man, we got this to do. We got that to do.
Or let me check with this person to see if I can come first. Or when we get there, I got to leave early because such and such want me home, or blah 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 blah. But I get you. You.
And those excuses come in handy at certain points in time. I bought a shirt the other day that said I came, I saw, I left. And as a single person, that's something that I can do. Like, I don't have to stick around for all the stuff. Mm-hmm. But when you have somebody that is higher up in their company and they're making moves, and then they're invited to corporate events and things like that, then the person they're with typically have to show up on their own, whether you're happy or sad.
Yes.
But they're gonna ask you where your spouse is or your significant other, and want to meet them when you're networking like that. It's just part of what it is. So that's why I think it's more of your job is your job. This is what you're doing to make a living, make a life, have a home, all that kind of stuff. That person you choose determines a lot of how far you can go on that job.
Which is why all the affairs happen at work, guys. At the end of the day, everybody's looking.
They already know what the job requires.
They know. And here's the deal, guys. The affairs are happening with the top performers. The people who struggling at work ain't having no affair. The people who are good at their job, that's where it's happening, because home is now a battlefield. Home is a battlefield, so they don't want to go. And so now you get two people who can't go home saying, man, look, let's just go over here. Let's go there for lunch. Let's go there for happy hour. Like Rhonda said, I came, I saw, I left. But she also has the option is come when she want to, stay as long as she want to, leave when she want to, talk to whoever she want to talk to, all this kind of stuff. But guys, just know, if your relationship is so insecure that they can't respect your job is ruined and your relationship is ruined. Who comes into your life to say, I need you to do less and I want you to choose me over your job? And guys, guess what? If you ever make somebody choose you over your job, that resentment never leaves. What'd you say about Bobby Womack, Ron? What'd he say?
If I'm there, I'm broke.
If I'm there, I'm broke. And now that person is mad because they had the opportunity to grow at that job. And let me tell y'all something. Everybody at the job, we've all heard of the 80-20 rule. 20% of the people doing 80% of the work. If you with a person who's in that 20%, that person has gotten next to the influencers at work, to the power brokers at work. Why would you be jealous of that other than the fact that you're afraid that person is going to leave you? Guys, guess what? People don't leave peace. They leave battles. If you that person's peace, they not running from you. Matter of fact, if you that person's peace, the people at work gonna say, man, hey, go home, spend some time with. Matter of fact, take them out to lunch or dinner on me. If you that person's peace. But if you that person's stress, the people at the job gonna say, well, look, if you don't want to go home, work on this project. If he or she causing you that much problems, Hey, I'm gonna give you this to do if you don't want to go home. But a lot of people don't realize they got into a relationship, Rhonda, so that they can fulfill themselves, not so they can fulfill the other person. But if I got with a person who's a doctor, I gotta know they might be working a 24-hour shift. I can't sit here and say, when are you coming home?
They're gonna be on call.
They're gonna be on call.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And I got to understand they might be at home writing out records. I can't be sitting there. Okay, you wanted me home, but I still got to write these records up if you want to live in this nice house. Right? If you marry an NBA player, you can't be mad that he waking up at 5 o'clock to go work out for 3 hours. Yeah, you're gonna get to sit in the gym in the suite, but you can't be mad about what they're doing. So, guys, when we ask this question, is your job ruining your relationship? You can see why both Ron and I are saying yes. Because some of y'all didn't set the tone when you first met this person for where you were at your job and for your aspirations at your job. Same thing with your company. What you think, Ronnie, when you hear me say that? Sorry, I didn't realize you were drinking.
No, you're fine. I was just following it up, chasing it with water because it's absolutely delicious. No, I kind of wish we weren't agreeing on this. But
it's a little different, huh? Because families don't agree. Families don't agree, which takes the fun out of it. So when I say this, the Family Affair edition.
Yeah, and so yeah, I'm sure we'll agree in the future real soon. But we can make that happen. but no, it's hard to say. I don't know how you could say otherwise. That is not. Because it applies to such a broad spectrum of things. Mm-hmm. It's like relationship, insert this word here. Relationship and this. Insert any words you want to put in there. And it's going to do some damage on some level. Like it's definitely not going to be, perfect.
Yep.
But, you wonder how did Cliff and Claire Huxtable make it work?
Nice. That's why the shirt comes in. Without Cliff and Claire Huxtable, we don't have Denise and Dwayne and Wheatley and Rome. All right, and Jaleesa. And who else is on that shirt?
But literally, they had two top careers.
Doctor and a lawyer.
Successful in their own right? And I know that was TV, so of course, there's that. But at the same time, you saw this couple fight nicely. Or have discussed nicely.
Yes.
And didn't have to hit below the belt, because guess what? They were on the same level as far as how they performed and excelled at their job.
And right? One
go to a different world, and Dwayne and Whitley got married. It was some issues.
Yes, because Dwayne was a professor and Whitley came from money.
Yes.
Right, and you can't. And again, guys, this is Dwayne knew what he had to do, and everybody remember when Dwayne had the opportunity with Kanisha Waugh. Everybody remembers that, right? Because everybody was like, bruh, take the money. If you want Whitley, you got to take the money. And so one of the things y'all got to understand is everybody is going to have to make that choice with the partner that you want. And I'm going to say this, guys. I started to do is your tradition killing your relationship. Because I'm going to tell y'all right now, we got a problem with people trying to turn women into domestic servants. Oh, does she cook and clean and iron and do all this stuff? How's she supposed to do that and she working? Right? She can't. Right? At the end of the day, how's she supposed to do all this stuff and serve you and she ain't getting paid for it? Okay? The reason why she's good at her job is because she's getting paid to do it. And what y'all are trying to do is tell her to go do 50-50 and do this. At this point, what you think gonna make this woman stay? And at the same time, ladies, you can't ask a man to go work full time and then come home and have to do a role reversal where he's becoming a caretaker. It doesn't work like that. Because I think one of the things we got to do, me and Rhonda would do this podcast in a heartbeat. Are your kids ruining your relationship?
Hell yeah.
Are your kids? Are your kids? Well, you say that'll be over in 10 minutes. The intro will be longer than the podcast. Yes. But I think one of the things you guys got to see is don't make a relationship more complex than what it is. A relationship is a supplement, guys. It's not the main course. Your job is the main course. Your company is the main course. Without that, they don't even talk to you.
Right.
Right? Like, that's the whole point. Your relationship is the supplement. It is not the main course. And try to take supplements. Every supplement says take with a meal. Stop making your relationship the main course and making your job the supplement, because you done been taught wrong. And the person who is in your life gonna realize, like, damn, if I support him or her in making their job the main course and I'm the supplement, I get everything I want. But if we get it backwards, we ain't going nowhere. Right? And one of the things you guys are going to find, this is why we wired different. We don't thank God for the likes. We go trying to see who didn't like it. Like, this is how backwards we are. Remember, guys, your relationship is the supplement. Without your job, that relationship cannot stand. Without some money, that relationship cannot stand. So don't ever let nobody talk you into hating your job or hating your company, because the people who are going to do it are in those four walls with you. So if you come home because you tired, oh, you gave them 8 hours, 9 hours, but now you don't want to do nothing to sleep. Yeah. Because when I do take you out, I'm going to take you to the best. Okay? And I think that's the key. And that's why we wanted to do this. That's why we wanted to do this podcast, guys, because what y'all are going to see with politics right now, if you're a politician's wife or a politician's husband or significant other, boy, it's election season. Can you imagine? Now, Nikki Haley's husband is overseas serving in the military. But look, you don't see Melania on the trail with Trump. She don't want to go.
You ain't seen her in a while.
You ain't seen her, right? And guess what? Don't nobody care. Don't nobody care. You ain't gonna see. Look, you're gonna see Jill Biden, because the first lady got responsibilities. What if the first lady said, I ain't coming? Well, now what is everybody gonna say? Damn. But see, when Melania don't show up, everybody say, I don't blame him. I can't stand Trump. I wouldn't go out there with him either. Right? That's what they gonna say. But one of the things you guys are gonna see is, if you treat your relationship like it's the main course and your profession like it's the supplement, you're gonna lose the relationship and you're gonna lose your profession. What do you think when you hear me say that, Ron?
Well, I think that's a little extreme. that's a little much.
It's a supplement, though.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Now I don't think you'll lose your profession. You just had to lose the person, and people are replaceable. At the end of the day, people are replaceable. You can be honest with that. So you don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's, yeah, you may miss the person, but you know, it'll be somebody else.
Yeah. My point to you guys is this. Hold on, Ronald, let's do this. Give me your takeaway as we get ready to end, because I want to say my takeaway. I want to use what I'm going to say next as my takeaway, and then we'll finish this thing up. But go ahead. What's your takeaway?
My takeaway from tonight, even though we both agreed on the same thing,
which is scary, by the way.
So disappointing. Is that find the person, if that's what you need in your life, find the person that will complement your job and not suffocate your professional life. Find somebody who will celebrate the small wins as well as the big ones that you get on your job or in your business. If not, man, leave those people alone. And that applies to job and it applies to life. And that's my takeaway, JP. Back to you.
Okay. Now, guys, look, I appreciate that, because Rhonda, my takeaway is simple. Is that you will never regret losing someone because you maximize your profession. But you always gonna hate that person who didn't let you maximize your profession. And you will never regret chasing your profession and being a top performer, but you will always hate the person who told you to walk away from something you were good at. And remember, guys, this whole podcast is because you got people who are good at their profession getting with people who don't have that same opportunity in their profession. And they making you walk away from yours, because guess what, guys? It's always easier to choose walking away. Versus saying, get back in the ring, get back in the ring. And I think that's the number one thing we have going on right now is we got taught to identify with the less fortunate. And the less fortunate always makes you walk away. The less fortunate never tells you to keep going. Only successful people tell you to keep going. You ain't gonna pay for a seminar that tells you to give up. You ain't gonna pay for that. You ain't gonna read a book that tells you to give up. Yeah. Right? There ain't no books on how to fail. That's already in you. There ain't no books in telling you to give up. That's already in you. Chase your profession, and you gonna meet the person that's gonna be your supplement. But if you keep chasing a person, your job and your professional growth will never happen, man. And y'all know what it is. It's the Smoke Something, Drink Something podcast, man. Need y'all to do me a favor. If you hadn't already, man, mash that like button, hit that subscribe button, turn on that bell for notifications, man. Get down in the description, support the channel, get the merch. Rhonda, I want to thank you for being on. Let them know where they can find you at on the socials.
You can find me on Instagram at RNBLNBT.
Man, of course, y'all know y'all can find me on Instagram at The Real Cigar Jeff, on Facebook at Smoke Something, Drink Something Podcast, and of course, you're on YouTube, man. I appreciate y'all. Make sure you get down in the comments. Let us know what you think, man. And until next time, we gon' holler.